Hello students. So in the previous topics we have learnt about heredity. What is heredity with respect to chromosomes and how the changes happen, how they adapt to the certain situations, and how the genes flow from one generation to another irrespective of the organisms or the conditions they live in. So in this video we will know more about evolution. So what is evolution? Evolution is the changes that occur, slower progress, and a new species is formed, or new type of species is formed with respect to the environment or adaptations with respect to the genetic changes and characters, etc. So let's understand more about the evolution in this video. So what is evolution? So it is the gradual change, as I told, it is a gradual change that takes place in a living organism which will give rise to new organisms. So new organisms are formed by certain changes, and this change will be with respect to the genetic composition too, that is the hereditary characteristics, and this change that has occurred to form a new living organism is known as evolution. So under the evolution there are certain traits that has been that should be considered. They are, the first one is inherited traits. So inherited traits is very much linked to the evolution. Why? Because they are the traits in the organism where due to changes in the genetic composition, there is some change in the genetic composition either from the parental, that is the mother or the father side, and these genes get formed or transformed in the new offsprings, and it can be passed from one generation to another, and the next it will result in an evolution or the formation of new species. So this inherited traits is directly linked to the evolution. So next comes the acquired traits. So what is an acquired trait? As I have informed or told in the previous video itself, acquired trait is the certain organisms live in a particular surrounding and they are not able to adjust with the surrounding, or there might be starvation, hungry, or excess of food, or extreme conditions or weather where they are not able to live in or survive. And this is not a hereditary trait. With this will not get carried from one generation to another, and it will never form a new species. So acquired traits are those where organism during its lifetime cannot be passed, wherein its genes or any other characteristics will not be passed from one generation to the next, and it does not result in evolution. So acquired trait is not linked with evolution. So coming to the next slide. So when we speak about evolution, we should have some evidences of speaking with respect to certain organisms or species. So let's understand about the evidences of evolution. So you might have seen that there are certain features of the organisms, like the birds or the animals, or with respect to human beings, certain characteristics or structures or functions might be similar. It might not be 100% similar, but some of the characteristics might be similar, which will relate to the evolution of the species. So you can see here there are number of common features in different organisms which provide evidence to show the evolutionary relationship. So on what basis you are going to understand the evidences of evolution? It is based on the study with respect to the homologous organs, analogous organs, and the fossils. So what do you understand by homologous organs? So homologous organs are those where the organisms will have the similar structural characteristics. Structure will be the same, but their functions differ. So the homologous organs are where, and you can see that certain examples of the whale, bat, horse, etc., you can see that their structures will remain the same, but the functions are different. So you can see that whale, it is an aquatic animal, bat, it flies, horse lives on the terrestrial habitat, or it lives on the land, but their functions are different. They use it differently. You can see that these are the organs which are similar in structure, but they differ in their functions. So let's take some examples. The forelimbs of amphibians. We will take the forelimbs of certain animals or organisms. Forelimbs of amphibians, reptiles, birds and mammals, they have similar structures, but they have different functions. So let's understand that a frog, which is an amphibian which can live on both land and water, so it uses its forelimb. Why it uses its forelimb is to raise the front of its body. So it uses its forelimb to raise its front of the body. So next we will see about the lizard. So we spoke about an amphibian now which has the similar structure. Now lizard also has a similar structure with respect to the frog, but it is a reptile. So how it is going to use its forelimb? So it uses its forelimb for walking and running. So now birds. So birds also have forelimbs. So what is modified here is they are used, or their structure is modified into wings. So what wings are used for? They are used for flying. So next comes the mammals. So mammals, how they are going to use their forelimbs? You can take your own example. So like for grasping, walking, running, swimming, flying, etc. There are a whole lot of activities that mammals can do with the help of forelimbs. So this will show, or these are some of the evidences that show as evolutionary relationship where the structures remain the same. So you can see here that structure of human, whale, dog, bat remains the same, but the functions are different. So here it is the same here, the structures of different species of frog, lizard, bird and whale. So all these cat, so all these have evolutionary evidences of having the same structures, but the limbs or the forelimbs they use, or the structures are used with respect to the functions are different. So next coming to this figure wherein you can see that same skeletal structure, as I told that they have the dolphin, pterodactyl, dog, human beings, they have the same structures. So bird also has almost same structure, but their function is different. Let's understand the function here. The bird uses its function for flying, then seal, dolphin for swimming. You can see dog, sheep, they use it for running, and human, and you can see that they use it for grasping. So you can see that different selection pressures. So the functions are different here irrespective of the similar structures. So next, it's just the opposite of homologous organs is the analogous organs. Here the structures are different but functions are the same. So let's understand here, they are the organs which are different in structures but similar in functions. So let's take the example of wings. You might have seen wings to different species here, say butterfly, bird, bat. So all these have wings, but they have different structures, but they have similar function. What is the similar function? They use it for flying. So this also shows evolutionary relationship, that is they are interconnected with one another. So next one, here you can see that bat wing, bird wing and an insect wing. So you can see that structures are different here. The function is same. What they are using it for? They are using it for flying. So homology and analogy. So homology is a bat wing and analogy is a bat wing. Here you can see here the changes or the structural changes you can see here with respect to the forelimb, and you can see human arm, that does the structures are same but function is different. Here the structures are different but the function is same. So next coming to the fossils. So these are the remains of the organisms that could have been lived long time ago or some 100 years ago. So you can see that they are the remains of organisms which lived long ago. So this fossils, they are known as remains of organisms, they are known as fossils. These fossils can be used for studying or understanding the structures and functions of the organisms and also interrelating them either with respect to the functions or structures of the organisms or the species. So how, like you can see that the study of fossils, we can know their structures and the time when which they have lived. The fossils of complex or recent organisms. So those recent time organisms, current organisms are found closer to the surface of the earth. So fossils are remains of organisms that lived few or long years back. They have connectivity with those animals, they live on the land. So you can see that fossils of simpler organisms. So simpler organisms like earthworm, etc., they can be connected to the organisms which lived deep inside the earth. So we can see that how we can find the age of the fossil fuels. We can find out the age of fossil fuels by radiocarbon dating. So you can see that there is a study which is known as radiocarbon dating. We can understand the fossil studies and we can correlate with the evolution that has happened over the years of time. The study of fossils show evolution of simpler forms into complex forms, that is simple living species to complex living organisms, and we can also study with the help of fossils their evolutionary relationship, means how they have evolved into a new organism from the previous one. So like example, fossil of a tree trunk, then fossils of invertebrate, then there are fossils of the fishes that was living long back or long years there. With these fossils can be used like skull study. So you can see that these fossils can be used for correlating with the complex species and also simpler ones. As I told, complex species are related to the current generation organisms which live on the land, and simpler species fossils can be taken for study of the organisms that live deep under the earth. So that's all about this topic. We will be continuing with respect to the same topic in the next video. Thanks for watching.